most traders say the market's bad, but the truth is they just don't know what they're looking for at the end of the day, or they say nothing's working right now. When really they're just taking random trades and they're hoping that something sticks. If you feel lost, if you feel frustrated or inconsistent, it's probably not your strategy. It's how you're making decisions. And that's the number one problem that most traders have, is their decision-making process. Think about how you've been trading lately. You hesitate on entries. Then the move goes against you or goes without you. Now you're chasing, but you're late. Then you finally get in, and that's when it just reverses. So now you're sitting there like, well, the market's trash. But 5 minutes later, it does exactly what you thought it would do. That whole mind F right there, that mess, that's not the market. That's you being stuck in between. You're trying to be patient, but you don't actually know what you're waiting for. So what happens? You sit there doing nothing when you should act, and then you act when you should be doing nothing. It's backwards. It's like standing at a crosswalk. Light turns green, you hesitate, light turns red, now you try to run across it. That's how most people trade. That was me early on. And then, boy, just wait, because that's when the excuses start rolling in. Conditions aren't good, market's choppy, there's no setups, but you still took 5 trades. So which is it? Because if conditions were actually bad, which happens, you wouldn't be trading. But here's the reality. You don't have a market problem. You don't even have a strategy problem. You have a clarity problem. You don't know exactly what a good trade even looks like. So everything starts to look tradable. And when everything is tradable, you end up taking garbage. You're not frustrated because the market's bad. You're frustrated because deep down, you know you're not being disciplined. And that's the part that nobody wants to admit. If you can fix just this one thing, actually knowing what you're waiting for, everything changes, because you're just no longer guessing. You're not chasing. You're not blaming the market. You're just executing. And if it's not there, you do nothing. That's trading. So let's fix the real issue here, because everything we just talked about comes down to one word: conviction. And most of you think conviction is confidence. It's not. Conviction isn't how you feel. It's what you see. Conviction comes from alignment. Not one thing, not a vibe, not hope, not a guess. Alignment. 4 things. Well, technically 5, because your entry model, mine being swing failure patterns, trading retail or trading behavior around levels, right? So that doesn't live in a vacuum. Obviously, we know that. It lives within inside the macro context, the regime, the market conditions. But when it comes to that entry model and what I'm looking for, it comes down to 4 things. Alignment comes down to 4 things: price, volume, momentum, and time. That's it. Let's break it down simply. Price. Where are you? Are you at a real level, or is it just the middle of nowhere? But also, what is your entry model? What price behavior do you want to see? Some people, it's a bounce and a break. For some people, it's just a bounce off of support resistance, or whatever it is. Mine, I want to see traders break in, pile in on a breakout, price move against them, now they're trapped, and I'm trading against them. So I want to see a sweep, breakout traders enter, and a reclaim of the level into absorption. I have a whole bunch of videos on this, but that's it, right? Where are you, and what's the behavior you're looking for price? Because if you're trading in the middle, if you're just not trading behavior, you're basically just flipping a coin at the end of the day. Now I said price, now it's volume. So who's actually involved? Is there actual participation? Is there absorption? Are there trapped traders? Did liquidity get swept? Is the breakout being done with real effort and real participation? Is it real acceptance, or is it rejection? Or is it just drifting? That's what volume means, because no volume means no commitment. And if nobody's committed, why are you? Now, momentum, this is a big one. How is it moving? I like to see fast moves through the level. The faster the move, the faker it is. That's what I trade. Slower moves tend to be more real. But how is it moving? Is it fast? Is it aggressive? Or is it displacing? Or is it just slow and choppy and going nowhere right now? Because strong moves trap people, weak moves confuse people. And then there's the one that most people ignore, right? Price, volume, momentum, and time. When is this happening? Is it pre-market? Is it dead hours? Is it during lunch? Or is it when the market actually matters, like the open? Because the same exact setup at the wrong time is a completely different trade. Now, here's what you need to understand. If one of these is missing, it's not a trade, it's a guess. not almost a trade, not close enough. It's a guess. And this is where most problems start. You get one or two pieces and you convince yourself it's enough. Yeah, it's a good level. Yeah, it kind of looks good. That's how you end up in those trades where you're like, I don't feel great about this. Exactly, because deep down, you know it's incomplete. It's garbage. Real conviction feels different. It's seeing the same exact behavior that you're looking for in the markets play out 100, 1,000, 10,000 times. It's quiet. No rush, no debate, no second guessing. It's just that this is it. I don't even have to think about it anymore. And when you have that, when you can define what an A+ trade looks like, guess what? Decision-making becomes easy. Patience gets easy. Execution gets clean because you're not hoping anymore. You're just recognizing because you've seen it happen over and over and over again. Look, we went through a lot of that kind of quick, the price, volume, momentum, time. I'm here to let you know I'm not a course seller. There are free courses on our website where I go more in depth, more in detail on this. TacticalEdgeTraders.com. It's not going to cost you $1, just your time. There's people out there charging $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a course that's half as good as we're offering for free. So if it intrigues you a little bit, hop on over there. Now, there becomes a point where everything starts to break for most people. Decision making, which ultimately at the end of the day is our job. It's to make decisions. And you think it's hard because trading is hard. It's not. Decision making feels hard because you're trying to figure it out in real time. Think about what you're actually doing when price hits your level. You're asking yourself, is this good enough? Should I wait? What if I'm wrong? What if it keeps going without me? That's not a decision. That's you negotiating with yourself with money on the line under time pressure. Of course it feels hard. You didn't even define the trade beforehand. So now what are you doing? You're building it on the fly. You're calling audibles. That's like showing up to a game with no plan and still trying to like figure out the play mid-sprint, right? You're always going to be late. This is why you get stuck. This is why I got stuck, because I hesitated. Then I missed the move. Now I feel FOMO, so I chase. And now you're just in a worse position with less conviction. Now fear kicks in and I manage it poorly. And that whole cycle, that's not strategy. That's emotional decision making. And it all comes from one thing. No clear yes. You never defined what a real trade even looks like. Or you're borrowing someone else's BS system. So then everything becomes a maybe, right? And maybe trades, let's face it, where do all your losses happen? Mine are from maybe trades. So here's the shift. Professionals, we don't decide at the level. We execute at the level. The decision was already made before the market opened. That's why I hammer into these guys in Discord. No, you don't show up when the market bell rings. You show up an hour, 2 hours before that bell rings. You get your coffee in, you plan out your levels. You plan the trade, you get your broker set up. So all you have to do is push a button. You already know what you're looking for before the market even opens. I already know if price does this and I see this and it happens here at this time, I'm in. No thinking, no debate. So when it actually happens, they're not faster than me. You know what I mean? They're not faster than you, these traders. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to think about it anymore. That's what you want, not better reactions. You need less thinking in the moment, because if you're thinking, you're already behind at the end of the day. You are. Now, this is where people get confused because they hear this and think, okay, so I just need to be patient. And then they go too far the other way. They sit there all day watching price, waiting, hesitating. And when the setup finally shows up, they freeze. That's not patience, that's passiveness. There's a difference between patience and what some would call aggressive patience. Patience is just waiting. Aggressive patience is what I just explained. It's being ready. It means I'm not taking boredom trades. I'm not forcing setups. I'm not calling audibles in the middle of the day. I'm not clicking buttons just to feel involved. But at the same time, I'm not surprised when it happens because I already know my levels. I already know my conditions. I already know what a yes looks like. So when price gets there, there's no delay. It's like sitting at a stoplight. Most of you, light turns green, you hesitate, light turns red, now you hit the gas. Aggressive patience is different. You're sitting there calm, not moving. But the second that light turns green, I'm gone. No hesitation. That's how trading should feel. You should feel bored most of the time and decisive for a very short window. And that window, that's where everything happens. That's where conviction shows up. That's where decision-making happens. Well, actually, that's where decision-making disappears because I already made the decision. That's just where execution actually matters. And if you're always active, you're not patient. If you're always waiting, you're not aggressive. You need both. You need both at the end of the day, because the goal, it's not to trade more. It's to do nothing until it's time to do everything. All right, let's talk about something everyone says now. Market conditions are bad. And listen, that is true sometimes. And right now, depending on when you're watching this video with the Iran war and Trump taco and everything else, it ain't great, right? Sometimes it's true. There are days where it's choppy. There's no clean sweeps, no momentum, nothing following through. That's real. But here's the problem. Most people say conditions are bad after you just took 5 trades and lost money. So which is it? Because conditions were actually bad, why were you trading? That's the part nobody wants to face. You traded anyway. You forced it. You didn't get your setup and you blame the market. That's not analysis. That's cope. Bad conditions don't make you lose money. Bad decisions in bad conditions do, and professionals understand this. You don't just need perfect markets. You need your conditions. And if it's not there, then don't trade. No frustration, no forcing, no revenge. Just sit out. Because look, professionals know there's always another trade. So let's kind of bring this all together now. Your job isn't to trade more. It's to trade when your edge is actually present. That's it. Not when you're bored, not when you feel like it, not when you think you see something. You ever seen ghosts in charts? I mean, I know I sure have. When it's actually there. And the goal, it's not to feel confident. It's not for hype. It's not to hype yourself up or for dopamine. The goal is to just have so much alignment that confidence isn't even required, because when everything lines up, guess what? You don't feel nervous. You don't feel rushed. You don't feel confused. You just execute. And if it's not there, you do nothing. No stress, no frustration, no blame in the market. That's the difference. And that's trading.